I think we'll get started. So to kick off this afternoon's events, I'm delighted to welcome Dean Troy McKenzie of NYU Law to say just a couple of words before we start off. So, Dean McKenzie.
Oh. This is okay.
Thank you, Noah. I'm just going to say very briefly, thank you everyone for being here and welcome. It really is a privilege to be able to host this conference, and it's a testament to the work of a lot of people. I want to do a little bit of thanking and then a little bit of thinking, and then I'll shut up and let the conversation continue. So first, I'd like to thank Noah and Rick, who came to me and said, we'd like to do this thing. And I thought, but this sounds like a great idea. And I was happy to be able to say yes. And it was an easy call to make, in part because of the importance of the Holmes devices, but also, and the various volumes in the Holmes device, but also because as a purely selfish matter, the one class I've continued to teach as dean is a seminar on the Supreme Court. So I thought, this is interesting. I'd love to see the product that Dean Post has produced, and also to see the conference that comes together. A few other people to thank. John Witt deserves our thanks as well. We would not have been able to pull this together without close cooperation with Yale, and having a great team working together has made this a very smooth undertaking. I also want to thank Dean Heather Gerken at Yale for her support, and here at NYU, I also want to thank our Comfort Family Fund, which has helped to support today's and yesterday's events as well. And then finally, I want to thank all of the panelists who have taken the time to join us today and yesterday for a very, very, very interesting conversation. Just a few words about Robert Post's book. The Taft Court, Making Law for a Divided Nation, 1921 to 1930. When I saw the title, being someone who is not a historian, but someone who is history curious, I immediately started thinking about today and about the debates that are raging, not just about the law more broadly, but about the Supreme Court, its institutional role, and many of the issues and conundrums that faced the Taft Court and the country during the era of the Taft Court are ones that I think certainly rhyme with those that we face today. So this contribution to the Holmes Devise history of the Supreme Court is obviously on its own merits and on its own feet extremely important. But for those of us who are looking to those debates and how to engage in those debates about the court today, we have a very rich source of material to draw upon, to debate, and to disagree over. I actually, in teaching the Supreme Court seminar, I spend a fair amount of time talking about Taft because of the Judges' Bill and the changes that brought to the court, and then the simple thing of the edifice, building a separate building for the court physically as a third branch of government. But there's so much more. There's so much more in this volume. Before closing, I do have one apology to make. Yesterday, I commented to Rick and to John about the bland appointees to the Taft Court. You know, who remembers Clark? And I sort of rattled off all the names. And the look of shock and horror on their faces. I mean, it was as though I had offended Rick's close family friends, John looked at me, and it was really, I don't want to see a look like that again. So I won't ever do that again. I said it because I wanted to talk about Stone. I thought, he's like the most interesting appointee during that era. But, again, not a historian, so I apologize. With that, I will let the conference continue. Thank you, everyone.